Welcome to Fright Night.
Please, God. This is God.
Bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me? It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Mad About Superheroes 5 Favorite Spooky Movie Scenes. This is not a definitive top 5, consisting of statistical data or extensive research. This is a list based solely on my own personal opinion. It's okay to disagree. In fact, I expect it. So please feel free to let me know your own personal picks in the comments section. There are literally tons of awesome horror movies out there. My personal favorites came out in the 70s and 80s. With so many great horror movies and so many great spooky scenes within these horror movies to choose from, it's hard to narrow it down to just 5. So I'll probably be back next October with another 5 favorites. So without further ado, in the gate, while their parents are away, Glenn and his best bud Terry accidentally open a gateway to the demonic underworld, which results in all kinds of horrific happenings, terrorizing the children. When a zombie bursts through his bedroom wall and attacks, Glenn's sister fights back, which only escalates the situation. I'm a big fan of practical in-camera effects, and this scene of the zombie falling apart and his pieces transforming into demonic minions is absolutely flawless. The effects used to create the demons included stop-motion animation as well as forced perspective, wherein actors wearing rubber suits were made to look minuscule by their position relative to the camera and the human characters. Nowadays, when you say minions, kids think of these little guys, but when I was a kid, we had these demonic little fuckers, and it creeped us the freak out. Fun fact, actor Stephen Dorff, who played Glenn, continued acting into adulthood, and in the late 90s, he played the villain Deacon Frost in the horror comic book movie Blade. A band of teen punks encounter brain-eating zombies in Return of the Living Dead. While looking for her boyfriend, Freddy, Tina is attacked by a very unique zombie dubbed the Tar Man. When her friends arrive to help her, their fearless leader, Suicide, becomes dinner for the zombie's bloodthirsty appetite. What really sells this scene is not only the incredible makeup effects, but the actor inside the layers of makeup and prosthetics. His incredible physical acting makes the Tar Man zombie scene a real standout. The scene also further establishes the difference between the mindless zombies of past portrayals and shows off their ability to speak, problem solve, and their hunger for brains. Fun fact, Scream Queen Linnea Quigley had a prosthetic fitted to her lower naughty bit during her famous cemetery dance sequence, so film viewers wouldn't see too much of her.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?
Whenever talking about werewolf films, An American Werewolf in London is the gold standard of werewolf movies, especially when it comes to the transformation scene. However, my pick actually comes from another more underrated werewolf film, The Howling. Serial killer Eddie Quist is seemingly killed by the police, but Eddie isn't really dead, and he's revealed to be a werewolf in a startling transformation scene. An American Werewolf in London is also a personal favorite, and also has an incredible transformation scene. Technically better, but both transformation scenes have completely different tones. An American Werewolf in London's transformation scene elicits empathy for main character David, while the Howling's transformation scene elicits fear and menace. I personally prefer the latter. Fun fact, Howling director Joe Dante went on to direct Gremlins. Dante put a callback to the Howling in Gremlins. The smiley face sticker that appears in the Howling also appears in Gremlins, on the Peltzer's family's refrigerator. The smiley face sticker also appears in the werewolf movie Silver Bullet as a reference to the Howling. Halloween is a true horror classic that needs no introduction, but short story even shorter, escaped mental patient Michael Myers is on the loose and sets his murderous tendencies on a group of teens. His murder spree is almost flawless until he encounters Laurie Strode. Laurie defends herself. She fights back and effectively protects the younger kids she's babysitting.
Man.
When she's cornered in a closet, she desperately twists a metal hanger into a pointed weapon. Assuming she's mortally wounded Michael, she slumps to her knees from sheer exhaustion. But Michael's resilience defies mortality. Astutely dubbed The Shape, Michael's movements and silence are what add to his effectiveness as one of the most, if not the most, spookiest boogeyman of all time.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Fun fact, by way of 6 degrees of separation, a few different actors played Michael Myers in Halloween. Most well known is Nick Castle. Castle went on to be a director. He directed personal favorite sci-fi film, The Last Starfighter, which starred Lance Guest, whose first film role was in Halloween 2. Nick Castle also had a cameo as Michael Myers in the 2018 Halloween film. Halloween started a trend of serial killer boogeyman-inspired horror movies, and for quite a while, none of its successors came close to replicating its popularity. Friday the 13th is the most famous contender, but still only rates second best in comparison. It wasn't until A Nightmare on Elm Street came along and introduced Dream Demon Freddy Krueger. Instead of trying to replicate Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street redefined the genre with its unique approach. Its imaginative dream sequences set it apart from what came before. The most horrific murder at the hands of Freddy is that of Tina. She's being killed in her dream by Freddy, but we're witnessing her terrifying murder play out in the real world as her boyfriend Rod reacts to it. The scene is shockingly graphic, and the practical effects are essential in making the scene a true standout that is still praised to this day whenever the Nightmare on Elm Street series, or horror movies in general, are discussed. The effect was achieved with a rotating room that was inspired by Fred Astaire dancing on the ceiling in The Royal Wedding. Director Wes Craven wanted something uniquely terrifying to grab the audience with the first death in the film. The rotating room was so great an effect, they used it again later in the film for Glenn's death. As good as the second scene is, it just doesn't top the impact of Tina's terrifying demise. Fun fact, the rotating room to achieve the effect of Tina crawling on the ceiling was recycled and also used in Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Meanwhile,
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Well, that's my 5 favorite spooky movie scenes for now. All the aforementioned horror movies are great picks to watch in their entirety. I highly recommend them to enhance your Halloween experience. If I've successfully put you in a spooky Halloween mood and you like superheroes, please check out my Superhero Rewind featuring Spawn. Or if you're in the mood for a science fiction fix, check out my Return of the Jedi Dune 80s sci-fi double feature. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thanks so much for letting your geek flags fly with Mad About Superheroes.